Welcome back to Power of Perspective. Today we have a very special episode to bring to you. Experience from an emergency medical technician who helps those with substance use disorder and mental illness while out in the field and in their own personal time. EMTs are still considered frontline heroes, putting themselves in harm's way to save their fellow man is more than just a job. It's a calling. Running into a situation where all others are running out takes extreme mental and physical training, laser focus, determination, courage, and skill. And that's just to name a few. What a heavy responsibility that is to put into someone's hands. We should all be deeply grateful for their service. Today, we are pleased to invite BK.
Hey.
Hey, BK.
How are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Wonderful. How are you feeling today?
I am a little nervous, but I'm good.
All right. Well, all of us here at the studio, and I'm sure many of our viewers are so pleased to have you here with us today. So thank you so much for coming in.
No problem. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I've personally seen how dedicated BK is to helping people recover from substance use disorder and or mental illness on a personal level and in his career. It's safe to say being a hero is his life. How grateful our community is to have such an outstanding role model in our midst. BK, if it's okay with you, we have some questions for you.
Okay.
So we all can get a better perspective on what it's like for an EMT helping others.
So, okay.
So let's go ahead and get into it.
Okay. So being an EMR responder is, it's fun and rewarding job until it messes up. You know, like you have to be on point, and whatever you do have to involve your partner life as in like your partner colleague life, and as well as the patient or the client you have. But that being said, I worked on the ambulance. I was driving, and I have either another AEMT, which is advanced EMT, another EMT, or a paramedic with me, one of those. But what we do is we're mostly try to like get people from, which is called transport, from hospitals to another hospital, or hospitals to their house, or if somebody's like having emergency medical need, we go there, pick them up, and take them to the hospital or do something like that.
Okay, wonderful. That's certainly a courageous career that you've chosen for yourself, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you feel the community gives first responders the help and information they need when getting to a scene that involves substances and or mental illness?
To be honest, not really. So our job is, yes, it is hard, but also we chose to do that job, right? I chose to do that job, and I love it. And the one thing I don't like about that job is, you know, people see substance abuse as some kind of deadly, like, bad thing that I might get it just, like airborne or whatever like that. So at the end of the day, like when they see things, when I see things, when I pick up with my colleague, my partners, and go pick up people, that we're like they express their feeling as, oh fuck, there's another thing, like there's another like overdose again, there's another chaos, blah 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 blah. They don't. Not all people, not all communities, and not all EMTs, EMRs, paramedics don't understand what addiction is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your perspective on that issue that's probably affected many people, either on your side with the EMTs or with the community or the person dealing with the substance abuse issue or the mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. As an EMT, do you find you lose empathy for people with addiction problems while out on a call, either because you may become callous to it from the amount of calls you receive, or because addiction is considered a disease of choice and that person chose to put themselves in that emergency situation?
Addiction, I would say, like, that's a hard question because I do feel sympathy. I mean, because I went through it. You know, like I am a recovering addict as well, and when I see people like that, I know what they're going through. I know what their family's going through, and it's just it sucks to see people like that. But at the same time, you know, there's light after the darkness. You know, like there is that they can come out of it. I know many friends. I have many friends who've been to deep darkest, and now they're like 6-7 years sober. So I can see that they're coming out of it, but at the same time, when we go pick them up at that moment, they have this agony of like I just want to die. That moment sucks, and addiction is definitely a disease. Yes, might not be airborne, transform, and all of that, but addiction is a disease. Whatever other people think, well, in my opinion, you treat addiction with like medication. You treat addiction with communication, community, and doing something else other than yourself. I love Brene Brown. I don't know if you know her.
I do know her.
I have her book. I love it, and she says like the opposite of addiction is connection, and that's exactly what needs to be done to basically stay sober, at least in my opinion and in my life.
Okay, thank you so much for that perspective. The discussion about whether addiction is a disease has been going on for quite some time, and I'm so pleased that from the medical standpoint as a whole, they've come to the conclusion that addiction is a disease. So thank you for that re-clarification on to help our viewers really understand that and to research more in depth on addiction being a disease for themselves, so they can have a better understanding about that and what people going through recovery have to take on throughout that time.
Of course, yeah, there are people who doesn't think that addiction is a disease in medical places, but people I work with, they do. I mean, there are, like, when you ask that question, it's kind of hard to differentiate because it's gonna be people's opinion. Therefore, like, I know people who doesn't think addiction is a disease, which I try to stay away from them for my good being. At that point, I'm like, I care about myself and I'm gonna start being selfish. But at the same time, there are more people who think addiction is a disease. And that's why I involve myself in this kind of, situation in that community.
Right, thank you. Next question. Is there a type of emergency call that you could receive that could negatively affect your own personal recovery? And explain.
Yeah, I could receive, or I have received multiple calls. My first one was a death, like a dead body. Like I have, I never had, I've never been scared of death until that moment. And again, like my parents, when I was a kid, they passed away, and that brought up a lot of memory of seeing that person laying on the bed, on the stretcher. It sucks. There's nothing you can do about it, because if they're gone, they're gone. We can try to save them, but at the end of the day, there's nothing else you can do to force it to wake them up. That kind of things will stick with me. I will never forget that. It's not like a PTSD, or maybe it might be PTSD. I'm not a doctor, I'm just an EMR, I'm just a responder. But at the end of the day, that will stick with me forever. I will never forget it. And that will affect me in my life. But maybe in a good way. It could affect me in a negative way if I let it. I would be like, okay, well, that shit happens, and I'm just gonna go drink over it, or I'm gonna use drug over it. But at the end of the day, I will flip that into, okay, so that happens. That means I don't have to be in that space, or I don't want my community to be in that space. So it motivates me to do more things. Yeah, that, and the other biggest thing is picking up people in the street that still have like needles on them, when they're overdose. They still have pills, fentanyl, anything that's left over sitting right next to them because they were doing it and they were just passed out. That is like, it's triggering for other people. I'm used to it. But it's definitely for sure triggering. Sometimes for me, but I'm like, I don't know what you call it, like a brain dead. But it's, at the end of the day, it's just triggering, especially if you're in early recovery. Yeah.
Thank you. Since I've known you for quite some time, and I think everybody who knows you would agree that you are definitely able to transform something that could be more of a damaging thing to someone else and turn it into a salvation, either for yourself or somebody else. So thank you so much.
Of course.
Next question. What type of feelings go through your mind and or body when you get an emergency call that has substances and or mental illness involved?
So I try to treat every calls as in the same. I don't differentiate between substance abuse or mental illness, or like somebody have gone wounded and stuff like that. I have to treat everything at once, at the same things, because that's how I was taught. That's what I was told. We can't assume, oh, that's overdose and that's an addict, so we're not gonna talk to him, or not. I cannot assume that, because at the end of the day, our quota is to save life, right? That's the first rule: save life. Therefore, it doesn't matter who or what they're doing, we have to be there. And so, yeah, when that happens, there's a rush, there's adrenaline rush that goes through your body. It's like exciting at the same. I mean, not for them, but for me and for my colleagues, because that's what you're looking for. Like when you jump from helicopter with parachute, skydiving, you have that scary moment, but also you have that adrenaline rush going, and you're very, very excited about it. That's how it feels.
Wow.
That's how it feels. And whatever we're going to, wherever scene we're going to, we just be there and see it. And sometimes it could go better, sometimes it doesn't. So it just depends. And after that, you just, like, it's when the adrenaline leaves your body, you just get tired.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
like kind of tired.
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
Wow, thank you so much for that perspective.
yeah.
Next question. Do you feel being an EMT may be a good or a bad job for someone who is in recovery?
Wow. Um, Depends. For me, so my therapist told me that that wasn't a good job, and I did it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know she knows that I don't listen. um, but sometimes it could be bad, very, very bad. I'll give you an example about my life. I didn't listen. I started doing it. And when I started, it was great. And it was just 40 hours a week. You know, it was just that constant calorie rotation. And I just do what I'm supposed to do, just like a regular job. But, but people, like in that first responders, they need more people. You know, they need more of like, hey, I need you to do overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Because not a lot of people have that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, one week I worked 73 hours, I believe.
Oh, wow.
That threw me off. I started hallucinating after
Oh, my
that.
goodness.
That threw me off, and I ended up relapsing. So that moment is the hardest part, and it could lead me to relapse if I continue to do it like that, to push myself and exhaust myself. And it's gonna be hard. But if you take it to like a regular job, 12-hour shift, 40 hours a week, I think you can do it, and it's gonna be a rewarding job. Definitely, because you're trying to save someone.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is our last question. Do you find that if a person has a overdose, is that person more likely to have an overdose in the future?
Connection is the opposite of addiction, right? And so if that person have overdosed, of course, there is a relapse. A relapse is a part of recovery. We take that person to the hospital, they're alive, that person's gonna go to rehab or detox and then rehab, and they will do the work. As long as they will do the work and they don't mess up again, or they don't relapse, and they just keep doing and stay around their connection, they'll be okay. But there is a high chance that they're going to overdose, because once you're sober, so once I'm sober right now, the longer I'm sober, the harder it gets for me to stay sober. But at the same time, the longer I'm sober, the drug that I used to do, or the alcohol that I used to drink, it would not be the same effect, because I have that tolerance build up. When I used to, like when I if I did and fentanyl and the per se, like I used to do a lot, right? And I got sober, and then I have like 2, 3, 4 years sober, and then go out again, come back and try to relapse like I used to do that. No, that will kill you.
Wow.
So yes, relapse is a part of recovery, and yes, there's a good chance that that person is going to overdose if they use again. For sure. But I would recommend going to detox and getting sober and staying with connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, viewers, you heard it from BK. Connection is the opposite of addiction, and I 100% agree with that. BK, I want to thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Of course, thank you.
Being in the studio, we're just so happy to have you here. We thank you for your service, and we'll see all our viewers next time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks, y'all.